Day one of the 2017 FNB Dusi Canoe Marathon. Starts in the city of Pietermaritzburg, plenty of hype and razzmatazz, but that lasts for about 8 kilometers. And then suddenly you're out into the country and the real racing can start. 3 key portages for the elite paddlers, and they'll tell you that it is those portages that set up a Dusi win. You protect whatever gains you make on day one. But is that how the 2017 race is going to pan itself out? Gerald de Kock has got the lowdown on day one drama.
Close on 1,200 paddlers gathered at Natal Canoe Club on Kampsdrift Canal in Pietermaritzburg for the FNB Dusi, the biggest and oldest canoe marathon on the African continent. Day one took them 42 kilometres downstream on the Umzinduzi to Dusi Bridge. But before the start, there was a tradition to be observed, as Ona Hemingway presented one of the race founders, Ernie Pierce's granddaughter, Linda Atwell, with a bunch of flowers.
Tradition continues. I give the Pierce family flowers, and they give me number 5 to take to Durban. That was Uncle Ernie's permanent number.
The 2017 race is focused on the K1 category, with defending champion Andy Burkett, the man with a target on his back. Among those taking aim at Andy were Spinello Quella, Hank McGregor, Tolani Mbanjwa and Jakob Adam from the Czech Republic. The resounding report of the Natal Naval Base's 3-pound cannons sent the seeded men on their way. The long pull to Ernie Pierce wears a chance for the power paddlers to show their colours. It might not win you the race, but it's good for the headlines. Leading the group of hard chargers over the fish chute was Burkett. The only significant swimmer was Mbanjwa, but the 2008 winner was soon back in his boat. By the FNB weir beneath the Commercial Road Bridge, under 23 Thomas Lovemore had forced his way to the front, followed by McGregor, Siseko Ntondini, Mbanjwa and Burkett. At Taxi Rapid, McGregor broke a paddle, but lost little time as his second was perfectly positioned to replace it, an example of the meticulous attention to detail of these top professional athletes. The top 6 were heading out of town towards the day's first portage. They were going to Braai Takeout. Burkett and McGregor were on the front, followed by Mbanjwa, Adam and Ntondini. The rich texture of variables that make up the Dusi means that the day's first serious run offers each athlete a chance to gauge both theirs and their rivals' running form as they follow the farm tracks between the cane fields. Quella, a Dusi winner in 2014 with Burkett, is a supreme runner who's been working tirelessly to improve his paddling ahead of this year's race as he chases a first K1 title. The undisputed king of marathon paddling, 8-time and current world champion Hank McGregor, won the K1 race back in 2005. He was getting to grips with his Achilles heel, the runs. Burkett is a classy runner and a former under-23 marathon world champion and a 6-time Dusi winner, looking for a 3rd solo title. The battle lines had been drawn early on day one. This is what makes the Dusi a unique challenge. Running and paddling strength allied to strategy and switched-on seconding teams. Seasoned Dusi podium finisher Mbanjwa partnered Martin Dreyer to the last of the Dusi Duke's 7 wins in 2008, but he's off the fearsome pace being set up front with Jakob Adam on his heels. With McGregor dropping off, Burkett and Quella were opening up a lead as they charged down to the put-in. Back in the river, they were heading through a hole in the wall and onto the day's second key portage section at Guinea Fowl. Burkett first at the takeout, Quella a few seconds behind him. Mbanjwa and McGregor were now matching each other stroke for stroke on the water. The Guinea Fowl portage climbs from the river, then drops into the infamous Devil's Cauldron. It's a brutal run, even in these cooler early morning conditions. And canny strategist that he is, Andy Burkett opened the taps on one of the toughest sections of the day. He was clearly in superb shape and feeling confident. Passing through the seconding table at the top of Jeff's Road, he had 20 seconds in hand. Quella was managing his efforts, mindful that he could risk blowing up while trying to match Burkett. Burkett put in a powerful interval as soon as he hit the river. This was a masterstroke, knowing that Quella would be under pressure already after the long portage. It was important for him not to get caught up in racing Andy so early in the 3-day race. The pull to mission saw Andy open the gap on Quella to 1 minute and 48 seconds. McGregor had lost over 6 minutes on the run as he passed through Mission, and Banjo was 30 seconds behind Hank. The elastic had snapped at last. Andy Burkett was in the zone and loving the medium to high water level, a real bonus in the midst of this serious drought. Kwela, a product of the Valley of 1,000 Hills and a member of Martin Dre's early intake of computer share changer light paddlers 8 years ago, was holding steady, trying to keep the gap under 3 minutes. Cabbage Tree Portage is the last big run of the stage, and Andy Burkett made it count. The months of training paying off handsomely as he increased his lead to 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Kwela's seconds were struggling to stay with their man as he pounded along the road. Putting in at the bottom of Cabbage Tree, it was clear Spinello was settling for second. He had no answer to the power and precision of the champion on day one, and despite his best efforts, the gap had swollen to over 5 minutes as Andy Burkett briefly looked to threaten his 2015 day one record time of 2 hours 36 minutes. The six-time champion crossed the finish line at Dusi Bridge after a masterful day on the Dusi River.
I wouldn't say it went according to plan. You never know what sort of hand you got. I was saying to guys before today's stage, and you just have to start conservatively. My running felt good, my paddling felt good, so I started picking it up as we went further along, and surprised that I actually have a gap at the end here. I thought we'd finish together, but great racing, and hats off to the guys, the other competitors. They're a great bunch of guys to race against.
Spinello Kwela worked hard over the last couple of kilometres, mindful that Hank McGregor would be coming right back into it. He's in his element on the water and gaining time with every paddle stroke. The smooth, almost effortless rhythmic stroke of the best in the business. Hank McGregor calmly putting the finishing touches in third place to his day one at Dusi. 4 minutes off his record time of 2015, Andy Burkett has laid down a massive marker after day one of the FNB Dusi Canoe Marathon, with 5 minutes and 8 seconds the gap to Spinello Kwela in second place. Less than 2.5 minutes separates Hank McGregor in third from sixth place Tulani Mbanjwa. And Tobisi Chele was the first under-23 home.
Yeah, I'm excited now. Hey, I was nervous this morning and last night, but now I've done my warm-up and relaxed and excited to get going. So I think it's going to be a good race.
Yeah, you channel that excitement. I mean, the nerves do switch over, don't they?
No, they do. I mean, you always come here a little bit jittery, but once you've warmed up and you just take in the atmosphere, you do relax a bit. And I mean, you've got to enjoy it as well.
The women's race promised to be a fascinating one, with just one former winner in the seeded batch that headed away from the Natal Canoe Club. K2 winner a year ago, Abby Solms, was the pre-race favourite to win a maiden K1 title, but the presence of 2012 Olympic sprint canoe bronze medalist Bridget Hartley spiced things up, whilst a clutch of talented next-generation paddlers from schools in KZN were keen to step onto the podium. Hartley's power put her on the front as they plunged down Ernie Pierce. Abby Solms was safely down in second. Having only completed one previous Dusi in the K2, this was a fresh challenge for Bridget Hartley, and she was using all her talents in setting a cracking pace as they negotiated the second obstacle of the day at FNB Weir. This was a tricky situation for Solom so early on. She was on the limit trying to stay with Hartley. But in her favour were years of Dusi experience and river knowledge, as well as superior running through the tricky tracks and trails of the portages to come. And while Bridget lost time to a swim at Taxi Rapid and struggled with a painful ankle after rolling it at Campbell's Farm, Abby carved out a tidy lead as she made her steady way through the intense heat of Devil's Cauldron. Bridget Hartley was around 4 minutes back. One of many young women taking on the Dusi, 18-year-old Christy McKenzie, had made a fine start and was in third. Christy is a matric learner at Lady Fatima Convent in Durban.
Yeah, I had a clean day here. I wouldn't say like I was feeling that strong mentally. I think I took a bit of a knock at the start, seeing how strong Bridget was. She set such a cracking pace, which we're not really used to, you know. So yeah, mentally it took me quite a while actually to get into a groove and sort of come to terms with the whole thing, because I was just sort of not really, I was going a bit uncontrollable like what I'm used to. But yeah, it actually got better as the day went on. I hit Cabbage Tree and yeah, I could get a good pace, and I think that's where I opened up quite a gap.
Yeah, it was extremely tough. I definitely had a lot of elements thrown at me. I can't even, don't even know where to start. I swam a taxi and then I rolled my ankle again running down Campbell's, and my drag rope broke as well. So quite a few things went wrong, but I just had to try and keep going. And Christy had a phenomenal race, and so did Abby. And I know that there's 2 days left, and we just have to see how it goes.
Christy McKenzie will divide her time between her books and marathon training this year in preparation for the World Championships, which will be held in Pietermaritzburg in early September. She was closing in on a slowing Bridget Hartley going up Fingerneck Portage.
Bridge, come, run. Just go, let it take you down.
I guess you just have to try and reset and keep going. A few times I was just like, come on, can something else just go wrong? Because I just wanted to stop right now, but everything was starting to hurt towards the end, and you just have to dig deep and just keep going and know that the finish line's coming closer and closer.
And then dragging her boat down, Mackenzie was in overdrive. Back on the water, Abby Solms was a picture of composure as she picked the right lines and headed for a hugely impressive Stage 1 win at Dusi Bridge. She cruised under the FNB arch nearly 10 minutes ahead of her closest competitor.
Yeah.
How do you handle tomorrow?
Like tomorrow, I just go conservatively, but I tend to try and go quite hard through the rapids. I mean, that's where I can manage to edge ahead and get some time. So, yeah, I can't be too silly, but I'll just go how I usually do through the rapids, and should be fine.
Young Christy McKenzie had an amazing day on and off the river, showing the kind of determination and skill that will serve her well in the years to come. First, though, she'll have to work really hard on day 2 to stave off the challenge from the prodigiously talented and dangerous Bridget Hartley, who finished the day just over 2 minutes back in third. While Abby Solms holds a commanding lead after day 1 in the women's race at the FNB Dusi, the battle for the other places on the podium is going to be thrilling.
The nerves are jangling at the start, and within the first 10 minutes of paddling there are 2 weirs, 2 very different weirs. The one just around the corner from the start is the Ernie Pierce weir, named after one of the race's founders and one of the sport's true administrators. It goes down a fish chute, and the on-the-bank cameras were there to catch all the drama, and there's nothing more frustrating than taking a goof in front of the big crowds in the first minute of your FNB Dusi. Day 1 is characterized by 3 key portages. Most of the paddlers actually only do 2. The second one is called Guinea Fowl. Guinea Fowl crests a hill and then drops down out of sight. People never see what goes on in what is called the Devil's Cauldron. Now, the paddlers have given that name for damn good reason. It gets ridiculously hot. The humidity is stifling. You drop into steep paths, and if there's any moisture, even just from runoff on tackies, it gets slippery as well. It's a part of the race the paddlers will never, ever forget. We ching-chong chowed amongst the on-the-bank camera crew and sent our team in to catch all the drama from the bottom, the hottest, stickiest part of Devil's Cauldron. About an hour from the end of day one, you'll find Mission Rapid. It's actually outlived the mission that was originally established on the right-hand bank, but its reputation certainly precedes itself. Great for the spectators, one of the biggest rapids on the day. The paddlers love the churning waves at the top. There's a small flat pool and then down into the narrow rocky chute where you don't want to mess up that line, because ramp your nose sideways, you're going to take a swim, and the crowd is there like ghouls to watch it. So, day one done and dusted. There's always a great vibe at Dusi Bridge at the end of that first stage. It's the running day done and dusted, and for a lot of the paddlers, that's the scary part of the FNB Dusi done. Day two, everything changes because you head into that big Umgani Valley. Suddenly it's big water hydraulics, the whole dynamic of the race changes, but it's something that the paddlers really do look forward to. Nonetheless, it's been a great day for the paddlers on day one, as you'll see from the smiles on the faces as they go through all the obstacles on the first day of the FNB Dusi. We'll catch you on the bank to wrap it all up again, same place tomorrow.
Ah!